Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Daytona. And tonight we will be bringing you the Pultz 125. This is Duel Race number 2 of the Nazara Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. My name is William Tiller. Tonight I'm joined by Brady LaBeouf, the boss man, and Cody Knott is the man behind the decks. Here tonight, Brady, I missed Duel Race number 1, but what a race it was with 12 lead changes. Do you see the same happening here tonight? And what could be a great sample piece of what we'll see in the main event just in 1 week's time?
Absolutely, Will. Thank you for having me tonight. I think it's going to be an exceptional race. I know the guys are itching to get the season started, which starts next Thursday night. It's week 1 at Daytona. So, this is the last race that they'll have to get everything together, working with their teammates, making sure everything's in line for them to go for the win, the first win of the season next week.
Yeah, Brady, and looking at that race, of course, as mentioned, there was 12 lead changes, only 3 cautions in that race last week. But we saw Zach Talley take the victory. Brady, for folks like me that missed that race last week, what are some of the things that stood out for you from last week?
Well, they uh they went 45 laps green flag racing. So it's the same as tonight. It's a 50 lap sprint. So we didn't actually see our first caution until lap 45. So a lot of green flag side by side racing all night long until then we kind of got towards the 5 to go, and it was crunch time for everybody. So they started pushing a little bit harder and whatnot, and taking it 3 wide. So I hope we see the same thing tonight because it was a lot of good green flag racing last week.
Yeah, and with the holidays all wrapped up, of course, we have New Year's this weekend. I think a lot of these drivers are now focused into this iRacing season. The 2023 season is right around the corner, and Brady, that's when we'll kick off the regular season here in the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. But another thing that stands out to me last week, Brady, is looking at the RTR esports team. They swept the podium. We're looking at Zach Talley at the top, Red Tucker in second, and Andrew right there in third. Do you think RTR, and then you look down the grid, actually down into sixth, you had another RTR finished there with Zachary uh, Doust right there. Do you feel like RTR is the team to watch out for, or did they just put out a great performance in that dual race number 1?
Oh, well, they showed up and they ran well together. They did a very good job working well together, and that's what it takes at these tracks. You got to have a team that's willing to sacrifice each other, for the betterment of the team, and they did that. At times we saw Zach leading, we saw Rhett leading, we saw the other Zach Douse leading, and then we saw Andrew leading. So as long as you work together, and you're there at the end, anything's possible.
Yeah, definitely anything is possible indeed. And Zach Talley was tied for the most laps led. There was 16 in that 50 lap shootout in dual race number 1. Now, Brady, we have no qualifying in these dual races. How is the field set in an event like this?
So the dual races, they're going to be random draw, and we've allowed guys to race in both dual races. We're kind of, getting unique about it, changing it up a little bit. So the way we're going to start the field for next week on the grid is we're going to take both your best finish out of each duel, and if there's a tiebreaker, the tiebreaker goes to the next best finish. So if you raced in one duel or you raced in both duel, you have a great shot of starting up to the towards the front next week.
And here we go. That starting grid is on our screen. And Brady, why don't you kick it off here in dual race number 2?
That's right. Luck of the draw, we've got Zach Osborne starting on pole. Adam Newbert's going to be starting second on the outside line. Keith Haney's going to be starting third. Hunter Porson's going to be starting fourth. Jonathan Pudge is going to be starting fifth. Even though they have Brady LaBeouf in there, I'm in the booth, but I'm doing race control also. So I will not be gridding, but Matt Rutter is going to be starting seventh. Raul Meza starting eighth. David Duke ninth. Kyle Hess will round up the top 10. Dustin Scruggs will be rolling off 11th. Blake Lothian 12th. Zachary Doss in 13th. Jose Medina in 14th, Thomas Caldwell in 15th, and to the tail end of the field, Mr. Corey Tribute in 16th position.
There we go. Gary Tribute's going to roll off in the 16th position. As we see now, the pace car is going to lead us off of pit road. Here we're about to get things on and popping here in the Pultz Poppers 125 here from Daytona. Of course, this is dual race number 2. Main event is next Thursday. That's officially when we'll kick off the regular season here in the over-the-top designs Xfinity series. But here tonight, we'll get to see if RTR is going to have another sweep over the podium, or we see other drivers come out of this field and show their stuff. Get ready for that main event next Thursday night here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. But here we go. The pace car is going to lead us down the backstretch right now as we're getting ready to the drop of the green flag here. 50-lap shootout here at Daytona. Everybody's excited. I'm excited in the booth. These drivers are excited. The holidays are over with. You've unwrapped all your presents. You've given all your gifts. Now it's time to race here in iRacing as we dig down into corner number 3. The base lights are off. We're going to go green flag racing. We're going to come out of 4 and start off the race number 2.
Yeah, and I apologize to the viewers. I completely messed up that grid. I don't know what was wrong with my settings right here as I was looking at them. But Dustin Scruggs is on the pole, and his teammate, David Duke, another one that's racing for primary race teams from the outside pole.
Green, green, green.
Flag is in the air. Scruggs going to take this green flag down into corner number 1. All the racing here in the top design Xfinity series to race number 2 as we get down to corner 3.
Guys, this working with them, and I'm curious to see what guys are going to wait right now.
A lot of people take so far down the map. It seems like all these drivers know that it's only 50 laps here tonight. Building up right now, back to corner number 3 right now. It's a coach. Out there in that 7 car leading the way. He is rocking the 7 here, rocking the 7 in the Cup Series as well. Leading the race down into the start finish line right now. He's going to lead lap number 1. Down to corner number 1. Carry off the top of the grid right here as we get down to corner number 3. Looks like that inside lane has a lot more traction on the top side right now as we get down to the corner. The apex of 3 and 4. Very, very close. Right now on the racetrack, the top side still trying to build up. There's no help up there right now. It's Gary Tribute going to take us off the field. He's right there trying to get lap number 2 is in the book.
Make a run at Kerry. But Kerry, I mean, he's always good at the super speedways, but he's just good in general. A lot of times we'll see him running up front. So, and he's got a good core behind him. Blake Lothian and Adam Newbert, they run for Sick With It Motorsports, is what they like to call Swim. So I don't think Adam's going to leave Blake. So as long as Kerry works with those two, he should be able to stay up front here.
Yeah, and you see how close Blake is and across the start-finish line here, officially on lap number 5 of 50 here in dual race number 2. Blake essentially has that nose right underneath Kerry. Doesn't matter if he's on the corners, on the backstretch, and that just goes to show the experience out of Blake there to know how to push the guy in front of you. Because you know with these race cars, you push it, you see a little bit of a hesitation there out of Blake there coming off of 2. But you know how fragile these race cars are. If you push them just in the right spot, it's going to send the guy in front of you sideways. The guy in front of you is going to get uncomfortable. He's not going to like the way he's pushing you. But now we got a drag race. All of a sudden, that topside lane has built up, Brady, and we're drag racing off of 4.
Yeah, Thomas Caldwell and Jonathan Pug that runs for Mission 1 Esports in this series, they've come into the picture now. So we got 5 cores that's on the outside. As we see Zach, the 71 kind of touches Blake Lothian right there with a side draft. I guess he got a little too close there, Will, but that was almost a moment right there for sure.
Yeah, and we're very, very close right now as we come off of 2. A lot of these drivers are getting a bit uncomfortable there, Brady. You saw a little bit of a wiggle out of all those guys on the top side when we saw that commotion on the low side of the track. These drivers, you can tell there's a little bit of nerves, there's a little bit of a nervous energy to this race. So, of course, we had the holidays last weekend. We're right smack in the middle of another holiday with New Year's coming up this weekend. I think a lot of these drivers may have taken some time off from the simulator, maybe celebrated the holidays, and now they're in a big-time race at a big-time super speedway. They're not used to drafting like this. Of course, you know, a lot of these drivers are with the experience that a lot of these drivers have, but after taking maybe a couple of days off or a week off and getting right back in the simulator, they're getting a dose of what they've been missing out on, that's for sure.
Oh, and I couldn't agree more with you. I know I kind of taken about a 2 to 3 week break from the sim, and I got on and raced at Talladega last night, and let me tell you, it was pretty rusty for me for sure. But yeah,
true.
it only takes a couple of laps for these guys. They'll figure it back out. That muscle memory will come back into play, and but like I said, if it's anything of 2 weeks ago, we did this for 45 laps straight. So, I mean, so far, we're coming to lap 8 right here, and it's side-by-side racing, and it looks like Zachary Douse is going to lead that lap.
He's going to lead that lap as the top side is going to inch out just a little bit from Kerry Tribute in that 7. The bottom lane doesn't have to get too nervous, though, as long as they stick together. But it looks like, Brady, as you mentioned, it's just Blake Lothian and Adam Newbert down there. You know, you have that 4th place car or the 3rd car in the line on the low side, or 4th place car on the low side. That's not really pushing on the back bumper of Adam Newbert as we would like there. Of course, on the top side, you have a lot more cars that are a lot more together right up there. You have the 71, you have the 20 up there. A lot more guys seeming to work together up there to push that line along as we come off of corner number 2 to this backstretch right now. Essentially, we're still drag racing right now. We're drag racing all the way down the grid. I'd say almost to about the 10th position as we come down the front stretch right now, crossing this line, make it lap 9 down into corner number 1. So Kerry Tribute leading the way, but a lot of energy, a lot of pressure coming from that top side now. As you start to see, though, the pace is starting to wiggle just a little bit. Kerry Tribute is going to take us around 2 to this backstretch. We'll see what happens here, Brady. As you said, there goes Blake Lothian to the outside. He's tired of pushing. He's going to try for the lead here down the backstretch. See if he has enough to do so. There goes that top side lane. He's going to push right on the back bumper there, down into 3. See if Blake Lothian has enough here on the apex of 3 and 4. Still going to stick side by side here. Another drag race ensuing, but now Blake Lothian's on the top side. We'll see how that shakes out here coming off of 4.
Yeah, and Blake's going to continue to try to get that run on the outside coming through the trioval right here. Keith Haney and Thomas Caldwell, Jonathan, they kind of stalled out and moved back down to the inside line, so that's going to hurt the outside line. And Zach's going to push on Blake right here. Kerry's going to inch out a little bit further going through the corner of 1 and 2 right here. And Blake's going to have a little bit of run on the outside lane. Let's see if he can try to get back out front and maybe see whether or not he's going to move down on that inside lane or not.
You see the top side still trying to figure things out. See some top side drivers go to the low side now, but there's only 3 cars on the top side trying to put pressure on Kerry Tribute. You have Adam Newbert down there as well, inside lane. See if anything else shakes out right here. But Brady, as you said, it was essentially a green flag race. Last time out, these guys took the track. That was all the way back on December 15th there in dual race number one. There was only, I'd say, about 2 or 3 cautions in the entire race, the entire 50 laps. There goes Blake Lothian, though, with a huge move. Going to use that push from the top side to go low side, throw the block on Kerry Tribute, which forces Kerry to push him along now on the inside. Now, Blake Lothian's on the inside track right now, getting a big push from Kerry Tribute, but right now, Dowson, that 71's leading the way on the top side. He has a lot more pushers on that top side, including the 20 of Parsons. As we dig down to corner number 4, Blake Lothian and Douse are side by side to the apex of 3 and 4. See if Blake has enough on the exit of the corner, and he's going to here. Looks like Blake Lothian's going to lead this lap to the line right now as Blake Lothian's going to take us down into 1.
Yeah, and it looks like Jose Medina and Thomas Caldwell have joined that outside lane again on the tail end of it, and Keith Haney's going to join. No, he decides to go back to the inside line. But Zach in that 71 machine, he's trying to edge out in front, but I don't see him leaving his teammate, Will. You know, Hunter Parsons has been working with him all night, and I think the issue with Hunter is he's trying to time where Zach's going to run. I see him running on that black seam right there, and Hunter's trying to time it to where he can give him a little push out front and they can get a run off the corner. But it doesn't seem like they can kind of time it right, and I see a little bit of wiggle coming out of the corner on him.
Yeah, and I think the moves... Ooh, oh no, watch out. Blake Lothian is now stuck to the middle right now off of 4. He tried to go topside on the exit of 4. He's going to lose so many positions. He is stuck in quicksand right now. That's the danger zone lane, as I like to say. He's just going to watch cars pass him on the inside to the outside until he finds a spot in line. He does so right now. And Brady, I was just about to mention how the move that Blake pulled off to go low side, high side, get pushed from a high side lane, then go low side again, get pushed by Kerry Tribute, lead the way. It looks like Blake was trying to do the opposite there. He was trying to go low side, high side again, and got left, hung out to dry there, got stuck in the middle, and now he's all the way down to about the 5th or 6th position. And now how tight this race is, Brady, he's going to have to pull out some Magic Man moves to get back up to where he was.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when you go from high back down the bottom and go high, I know you're trying to kind of control both lanes, but what you end up doing is you end up checking up the bottom line. And so we saw some momentum from the outside lane because of that, but that was just a late move by Blake. And I know he probably regrets it because he went from 1st back to 9th, it looks like right now. So, but it's lap 14, it's lesson learned. Now's the time to make those moves so you can figure out what's going to work at the end of the race.
Yeah, right now only 14 laps into this race. Adam Newbert's now pushing Kerry Tribute along on that inside track. They have essentially cleared the high side there. I'd say about a car in between them now from the high side to the low side. So clear sailing there, but there goes Adam Newbert to the top side. Now he's going to put pressure on Kerry Tribute. Adam Newbert with a huge push. I believe that's Douse pushing him along in that 71 machine. Douse hasn't gone anywhere on that top side lane. He's essentially been a pusher all race long. Adam Newbert thought about going low side again. He couldn't do it. He's going to stay high now. He's going to get shoved into the middle for just a little bit. Doesn't look like he's comfortable on that high side there. Oh no! Big wreck on the backstretch. Leaders involved. Kerry Tribute, Adam Newbert, bunch of names tangled up in this down the backstretch. Oh my goodness, folks. On lap 15, we just had all of our leaders crash out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We saw the aggressive bumping right here, and it just seemed like they got together coming down the back straightaway. We're going to have to go back and look to see what happened.
Yeah, we started to see those moves started to play out here as we check out this Pultz Poppers replay here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Man, we might have to go back just a little bit on that replay because it looked like the movement was already starting to happen off of 2 between Adam Newbert. If we could rewind it just a little bit more there just to see, because it looks like Adam was getting uncomfortable even on the apex of 1 and 2 when he made that move to overtake on the top side. You could see he's already uncomfortable there on the top side coming off of 2. And you see right there, that's hard to tell who that's. The 27 right there on the inside lane's going to get loose, going to clip Adam. Adam's going to clip Kerry. And I think essentially at that point, it's just a domino effect.
Yeah, well, and it looked like there was some net code involved in that too.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit there. Still, with all the updates and everything iRacing does, they still can't get rid of netcode for some reason. So working on that. I get iRacing Studios, but that's our Pultz Poppers replay there. And it looks like the majority of the top of the grid was involved in that, Brady. I think the only driver that may have come out of that unscathed was Adam Newbert. Of course, he's going to have a little bit of damage to that back fender there. Also, the front bumper. He's going to take some shots in that mess, though. A lot of guys involved in that. Kerry Tribune, Scruggs. Of course, he was at the tail end of that pack there, but now we have some drivers down pit road. Really opens the door what we're going to see here at the end of this race.
Yeah, and Keith Haney does a great job of maneuvering himself through that whole mess. Him and Dustin Scruggs, but I know for sure Keith Haney came out of there scot clean. So kudos to him for being aggressive and going top to bottom, then back to top to avoid everything.
Pulling out some matrix moves already, and it's not even the regular season yet here in the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. We see right now Keith Haney in that 81. Keith was really running the middle of the pack there, keeping it clean there in the 81 machine. And Brady, I almost had a feeling that something like that was going to happen. How tight everything was. We saw Blake Lothian pull off, I would say, a pretty sketchy move. Adam Newbert pulled off a move as well. But I started to notice something, though, Brady. When he was on the top side, it seems as though he didn't prefer that line. He was very uncomfortable. He didn't like the way he was being pushed there on the top side. Whether it was Adam getting spun or crashing out himself, I saw something brew in there. Everybody was very tight. Everybody was almost door to door there on the corners. And then it just so happens the 27 gets loose, clips Adam, clips Kerry, and then everybody just gets crashed out on that. But now we get to see some other drivers there at the top of the grid. Of course, Haney in that 81. You see Raul Meza, who's very experienced here in the simulator. Medina right there in third, Osborne in fourth, and Hess, also another very experienced driver right there in the fifth position. Kerry Tribune, although involved in that wreck, is going to be right there in the sixth position. Caldwell in the seventh. See Rudder right there in eighth, Pugh in ninth, and then Blake Lothian, who we just saw get wrecked out as well, is going to be our top 10 right now on the track. Here on lap 18, slowly creeping our way towards half.
Yeah, Will, and whenever these guys are going down the back straightaway and they're wanting a side draft to get an advantage because you can, you can't control the guy on the bottom line who's maybe coming up to side draft the guy on the top, and vice versa with the guy on top trying to side draft the guy on the bottom. So you'll see that a lot of times of those guys just colliding and getting together.
Yeah, and I think it's just all about the aerodynamics there. The 27 came off of two, gets loose, and in that situation there's no bumpers. You're not bowling here. There's no bumpers that you can bounce off of except another car. And you saw it right there when he got loose. He tried to correct, made contact with Adam. Adam wasn't anticipating that contact. Sometimes you can almost anticipate it, Brady. You can take that contact, you can keep it moving, keep it straight. Sometimes you're racing door to door and you bump a guy or you bump a fender and you're okay. In that situation, though, Adam was not expecting that at all. Unfortunately, clipped Kerry, who was leading the race there, has raced a really excellent race up until this point. Is now still in the fourth position even after all of that. But here we go. Pace car is going to take us off of four. Here we're going to go green flag racing right about now. We'll see who's going to take the way here as we slowly creep our way towards the halfway point here in dual race number 2. This is the Pultz Poppers 125 as it looks like. See who's going to lead us down right there. Medina in that 24 machine. We all have great memories of the 24 here at Daytona. See if Medina can keep that rolling as he's going to take this green flag down to corner number 1.
Yeah, shout out to Jose Medina right there. He's racing for Broken Axle Motorsports, so he's going to lead the inside lane. We got some real high hopes for Jose. I think he's going to be great for this series, Will. And Zach Osborne didn't really get that good of a start. It seemed like that outside lane didn't really materialize as Blake Lothian's going to go from 4th to try to get that outside line going into 3 and 4.
Yeah, he tried to do it. He tried to move out there to the high side, and you see him was drifting from that yellow line to the top side, trying to find somebody to work with there. He's still trying it right now. It looks like the guy didn't want to work with him. Now is forced to work with Blake on that top side lane. That's the 23 machine right there behind Blake Lothian. But you see how far away they are, though. But it's only a two-car pack at the inside track right there here at Daytona. You have Medina, you have Kerry Tribute, you have the 10 machine of Rudder right there as well. Of course, the top side's led by Lothian in that 59 machine. Parsons in that 20's pushing him along. But right now, they're so close to one another. They're so pushing just the perfect amount down into 3 right now. We'll see if that top side lane can build up. The damage the back of these race cars here, you see the damage on the 20 of Parsons right there. I think, Brady, that's going to have any effect on that drafting that you can do here at Daytona.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of everyone's damage. Blake looks clean in the front, so it should, but I do see Hunter Parsons with some damage on the front end, but as long as he's the pusher and not leading the group, it should be fine. We're going to have to keep an eye on everything, but Zach Osborne working that outside lane. But like I said, Kerry and Jose's locked up on this inside line, and they're doing a great job. So look at them to continue to lead this pack.
Yeah, and you see right now the inside lane's the preferred lane here at Daytona. And I think, Brady, I think it's just the... Oh, watch out now. We have 3 wide and 3 wide. We have a 6-pack on the track here at Daytona. See if we can keep it clean here, boys. See if everybody can come out of this 6-pack unscathed. Looks like so far so good right now as we go back to 2x2 racing right there. Boy, we had a 6-pack here in dual race number 2 as Medina still our race leader down to the corner. Something about that inside lane there, Brady, though. It seems as though it's almost the easier lane that you can run. You can hit your marks, better. You can time it just right. You can ride that inside lane. You almost have a marker to follow with that yellow lane. Whereas that high side lane, you can get very high on the track like Junior used to do, almost ride that wall here at Daytona. You can go middle right there as these drivers are doing here. You can bounce around a little bit more. So it seems as though it's a little bit more harder track to follow, that high side lane that is, than it is to ride that yellow line, the inside lane.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely, Will. Over here at Daytona and Talladega, the double yellow line is your best friend. As long as you keep on that double yellow line, you don't have to worry about the guy necessarily passing you on the inside because you can't advance your position. But I prefer to actually run that middle to outside line on the super speedways. I like getting the run off the corner. I find that the vehicle, whether you're in a car or a truck, doesn't want to push up coming off a 4, so it's to each their own.
Exactly. And I think whatever line works out for you, if it works out better to run that high side and you have more speed on the high side, then go for it. I think a lot of the finishes here at Daytona too, you see a lot of those runs, as you just mentioned, Brady, coming off of 4. You have those photo finishes right there at the line here at Daytona. But here we are on lap 24. Medina's going to take us down to corner number 1, still leading the way in that 24 machine. We're waiting to see if Kerry Tribute is going to make that move to the high side, get pushed along, try to overtake the 24, or is he going to stay put right here as we come off of 2 to this backstretch as we creep around to this halfway mark here. Next time by, we'll have 25 laps in the books here in dual race number 2. Of course, is the over-the-top designs Xfinity series here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. We're going to ride on board Kerry Tribute right there in that 7. You saw what happened in that last caution. He took that in stride, though. He is right back where he left off, inside the top 2. We see if Kerry can make a move here as he's riding that back bumper of Medina in that 24.
Yeah, and it's also key to note, and we'll get it, as the season goes on a little bit more, Will, but, Kerry and Jose's teammates for Broken Axle Motorsports. So I could see Kerry working with Jose all the way up to maybe 2, the final lap, and then trying to make a move. But I could be wrong, but I don't see him getting away from Jose right here, as well as they're working together.
No, not at all. They look stuck together. They're working together like peanut butter and jelly inside of that sandwich right now. They are a match made in heaven at the top of the grid. That's what you want right there, Brady. You want your teammate behind you. You don't want a guy that you almost have to predict. Is he going to go to the outside? He's going to use that lane. He's going to try to push me out of the way. Your teammate behind you, as you mentioned, Brady, is probably going to be the last 3 laps, the last 2 laps, where you start to think in the back of your mind, okay, my teammate might make a move on me. I can almost anticipate where he's going to go if I keep my line here. But right now, they seem to be just pushing that inside lane along. You see the top side still trying to get built up right there. Doesn't seem to be happening right there. A lot of these drivers are getting a little antsy right there. You see a lot more movement down the backstretch. It looks like these drivers know with only 25 laps to go, if you want to win this race here tonight, now is the time to make those moves.
Yeah, and as Jose continues to lead this pack going into 3 and 4, you know these races, Will, they paint a picture. And what I'm starting to see is, we got Chevrolets working with Chevrolets, Toyotas working with Toyotas, and Fords working with Fords. So teammates are working with teammates. But I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Matt Rudder, running in a third spot right there from Mission 1 Esports. He's on the bottom lane. Him and Jonathan, who's in the 19, they're teammates. So I can see Matt trying to climb up and maybe getting in front of Jonathan so they could work that outside lane.
Yeah, talking about that 10 car right there coming off of 2. He almost has this unique move where he comes off of 2, goes very low on the racetrack, comes up high, uses that side draft of the 19, rides that draft around the corner so he holds position. He holds the 19 in place as well. Ooh, Brady, I can start to feel myself sweating a little bit up here in the booth. I can only imagine what these drivers are going through as you're starting to see a few of these drivers sort of back off a little bit, starting to see some moves taking place here. But watch here the 10 car coming off of 2. Let's see if this he pulls it off again. He's going to go very low on the racetrack here off the corner, right there on the exit. Use that side draft to exit the corner and hold position. But you see right there, as we exit 2, Brady, a lot of movement here in the pack.
Yeah, it just seems like everybody's getting antsy as that outside lane's carrying a lot of momentum right now. They're up to the second spot almost. He's side by side on the rear quarter panel of Carey Tribute right there. So, man, it's just 23 laps to go. 22 now to go. It seems like it's still a little bit too early to kind of make these moves as they snake down the back straightaway like they've been doing previously.
Ooh, see what's gonna happen here. As you saw, Parsons in that machine is gonna go around the 19 of Pew right there. Is gonna have a 3 wide situation. They all backed out of that. But here we go. Our pole sitters now back in the mix. We see Dustin Scruggs out there racing that 11 machine after an early odd incident there where we saw him go from the top of the grid to the tail end of the grid. For whatever reason that may have been, Brady, he is now back in the mix himself, right there in the 4th position, right behind that 10 car. So he's in a good spot on that inside lane. He might be that car that we talk about that makes that move to work with the top side to put some pressure on Carey Tribute and Medina right now as we cross that line. Make it 21 laps to go here in dual race number 2 as Medina in that 24 machine is going to take us down to corner number 1. Still our race leader has a teammate, Carey Tribute, in that 7 machine as we cross over the apex of 1 and 2 down into the backstretch right now. So the inside lane is the fast lane right here at Daytona. Seeing that 19 machine right now, trying to find some friends there on the top side. That's Pew in that 19. Trying to find some friends to work with here as they overtook Carey Tribute for that second spot. See if he has enough momentum coming off of 4. He doesn't. It looks like an odd move there, though, Brady, coming off the 20 of Parsons. In order for them, in my opinion, to have the speed to get around Medina and Carey Tribute, you need to be stuck together on the exit of 4.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But they're making some headway now. They're back up to second. That is Jonathan Pugh. But if I'm Matt Rudder right here, I feel like I'm in a great spot. The third car on the inside line. He doesn't have a teammate in front of him or behind him, so he has a little bit more freedom of not having to worry about, as we see Hunter Parsons making an aggressive move. He's going to make it 3 wide. They put Jonathan Pugh in the middle right here. Wow, this is going to be wild. And Zach Osborne, as we see Keith Haney get loose. I don't know if he saved it or not. Yeah, he did save it. Wow, what a great save by Keith Haney. Oh, we're going to have to get a replay on that one right there, Will.
Yeah, we definitely do. We need to queue up that Pultz Poppers replay there to see how Haney was able to save that race car as we're starting to see things percolate just a little bit here from Daytona. Drivers are getting a little bit more antsy. They see how many laps are left here as we check out this Pultz Poppers replay here. We'll see how Haney was able to save it there. Look at that replay, though, Brady. We're seeing it before the folks at home. He was at a 90-degree angle on the racetrack. Somehow, someway, was able to save that race car. Watch it right here, folks. Cue up the Tokyo Drift theme song because he is drifting at Daytona. And you see he's going to go to the apron, get that thing straight, come back up on the racetrack like nothing even happened. Nothing to see here, folks.
And great job by Zachary Dowse right there of staying off of them, not turning them. I know it's going to slow down their momentum by a ton, but they'll get back up there. There's a bunch of cars back there that they can work with to get back up to this lead pack. But great job. Shout out to Keith Haney for that great save of the night.
That was an excellent save of the night right there. Almost like a hockey replay there. The great save out of Haney. But we see now Dustin Scruggs, who was our pole sitter here in dual race number 2, is now on that top side lane. I just mentioned it, folks. He was in that 4th place position. See if he's that car to go to the top side, put some pressure on Medina and Kerry Tribune, and he's doing just that as he is door to door with Kerry Tribune. Coming off of corner number 4 here to the strike here. Going to make it 17 laps to go. Dustin Scruggs is going to lead right now as he inches Kerry Tribune at the line down to corner number 1. We are drag racing at Daytona.
Yeah, and Kerry's going to carry that momentum back into 1 and 2. The teammates flip-flop positions. We didn't catch it, but Kerry made it back in front of Jose, and they're going to kind of take the lead, carry the lead down the back straightaway as we see Dustin Scruggs with some momentum. Oh, we see a core below the double yellow line. That's Matt Rudder in the 10. Oh, and he comes back up in the track, and he gets into the 20. Oh, wow.
And that's Rudder in the 10, Parsons in the 20. Watch out for the rest of the field. Oh, man. Wow. And we've seen that before, though, Brady. We've seen drivers, of course, pull a line there on the backstretch. You know, sometimes the draft's making you uncomfortable. You don't like what you're feeling out of the race car, so you pull out a line there. But I think what the 10 machine may have made the mistake there is coming back up on the racetrack and not knowing what was there, possibly. You see right here on this Pultz Poppers replay. It's a 10 machine of Rudder, of course, going to pull out of that line. Doesn't like what he's feeling out of here. He's going to go off-roading for just a little bit there, which is going to turn him sideways just a little bit there, Brady. But he's going to get that machine straight. He's going to come back up on the racetrack. Is he sliding right there, Brady? It looks like he's sliding up on the racetrack.
Yeah, you know, when you get in the grass right there, you kind of lose control of the car. And he kind of transfers that apron back onto the racetrack, and at that point, you're just along for the ride, Will. So it's unfortunate. We had good things going. It's a lot of cars getting involved in that at the tail end of the field too.
Yeah, definitely. As everything was starting to settle there, a lot more cars came along, tagged up some other more drivers. You see 2 drivers right up there. And you see the rest of the field is going to come along here. See who else gets entangled in this. See Haney right there is going to take a shot to that front bumper there. Of course, there goes the hood of Haney. See what else happens there. Not much. A car down on the grass. Looks like I was going to say that's the paint scheme. Morello Meza there in that 37. You know, Caldwell is going to be mixed up as well. Boy, you know, it's a shame we had a caution there, Brady, but I feel like that's going to open the door for quite a finish here in the dual race. Number 2, of course, is the Pultz Poppers 125 here tonight from Daytona here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Of course, that was a Pultz Poppers instant replay here brought to you by Mr. Cody, not there in the truck. But as we see, the pace lights are on of the pace car here with 15 laps to go here, Brady. And you mentioned dual race number 1 was, I would say it was a calm race. It didn't have as many cautions. Here tonight, though, Brady, you know, we started to see it with about 25 to go, 30 to go. 3 wide racing. We had a 6-pack at one instance there, 3x3 there. These drivers are getting uncomfortable in spots. They're starting to push the envelope a little bit. We had leaders crash out down the backstretch. Boy, if this is any indication that what we're going to see next Thursday night, I think this is going to be one heck of a series. I cannot wait for the regular season to kick off.
Yeah, that's right, Will. You know, And we're gonna see a different picture, next week. Tonight's being just a 50 lap sprint. Next week you're gonna have 85 laps. You're gonna have stage racing. So you're gonna see guys, I think, taking it easy. Stage one. Some guys being aggressive, some guys not. Then you'll have second stage, and then that final stage, it's go time, and you'll see a lot of this horde racing like we are right now. And but it's going to be interesting, if it goes green flag, there's a pit stop that's going to have to be made in that final run. So I think we're getting a preview of what you could see next week, but just a completely different race next week in itself.
Oh yeah, definitely we're gonna have a full field here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network, and for what we've seen so far in the Truck Series, there, Brady, we've been averaging some pretty good numbers there. I'd say 28 to 29 drivers every single race that we've had so far. We had about 40 one night as well. So whatever you're doing, it's working, Brady. You're keeping these drivers coming in week after week after week. And you get paid pretty well as well. There's plenty of ways to get paid in both these series here. So you get them with those incentives, but you also get some excellent drivers coming in the series.
Yeah, that's right, Will. I mean, we haven't even seen everybody just yet. There's a lot of guys that's finishing up other leagues that's going to be coming in here next week, first of the year. So we're getting a preview of about half the field. We had some guys that raced the dual race 2 weeks ago for number one. That's not here tonight. So we should see about 30 to 35 guys next week to kick the season off.
Oof, I cannot wait for that 35 car field, but here we go. The pace car has pulled down pit road. The green flag is in the air. Barney is working hard here tonight as Kerry Tribute in that 7 machine is going to take us down to corner number 1. Medina in that 24 is already trying to find his window of opportunity. He's going to square that thing up, push his teammate along down to the corner right there. Scruggs going to have no help on that top side right now. He's going to lose about 2 car lengths to Medina in that 24. Actually, a whole nother car is going to get in the mix right there as well. Going to block Scruggs from putting any pressure on those top 2 cars. I believe that's the 16 up there, a number that we haven't really called out much here tonight. That's Zach Osborne in that 16. He's not going to lead the way on that top side lane after blocking Dustin Scruggs on the top side. But here we go, 13 laps to go, I believe, coming off the corner right now. Kerry Chibusto, our race leader, going to hold off his teammate Medina in that 24 as we come to the start-finish line here. Make it 12 laps to go here in dual race number 2. Whoa! As Dustin Scruggs makes contact with Osborne there on the top side, Adam Newbert's going to get collected as well. Everybody keeps it straight, though. Nobody crashed out here. We see what's happening here on the racetrack down the backstretch right now with 12 laps to go. These drivers, although there's no points on the line here tonight, still plenty of bragging rights. You want to go on that regular season with one of these wins along the way. We had a dual race. We had a clash race. This is the final dual race before the main event. So you want to kind of show your cards here tonight. You want to show that you got the stuff to win in this series. Kerry Tribute now is going to be all alone there at the top of the grid. We're going to check out this Pultz Poppers instant replay to see what occurred there. We had some action there on the racetrack. It looks like, trying to see, Adam Newbert may have went below the double line there, Brady.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it right now.
I think he's going to go below the yellow line there. Going to come back up onto the racetrack. That's going to send a car into the 10. Osborne's going to get collected as well. No caution flag, though, folks, so we're still green flag racing here. See what occurred there to cause that. Looks like it's going to happen in front of this 10 machine. Boy, just crazy racing here from Daytona. And the 10 machine is just going to be an innocent bystander there at the tail end of the pack, was watching everything happen in front of him. All of a sudden, he gets clipped himself, and he's all by himself there, Brady, at the tail end of this pack.
Yeah, and that's why the caution came out, trying to gather it back up and stop on the track. So uh, we'll get it back together, and we'll be inside of 10 laps to go. So, but I mean, as we see Carrie Tribute still leading this pack. The best thing to do, Will, to stay out of trouble is be out in front most of the time. I would say
Yeah.
most of the time is how you stay out of trouble. But I'm starting to like Carrie and Jose together. I mean, it's just great teammates working together, and I could just see them at the end of this race finishing 1 and 2.
Yeah, I start to see that tandem building up as well. Of course, Medina's rocking that 24, Carrie Tribute in that 7, and it seems as though once Jose got up there to work with Carrie, they haven't left each other. Of course, we had Carrie Tribute switch with Medina there to take over the lead. Medina was leading a bunch of these laps as well. I spoke about when we started this broadcast off. All eyes are on the RTR Motorsports team here tonight to see what they're going to do after sweeping the podium in dual race number 1. But now we're starting to look at this broken axle motorsports team right now with Jose Medina and Kerry Tribute to see what they can put forth in this series, the way they've dominated here at the top of this grid, not allowing anybody to come at the low side or even the high side to even overtake these guys. They've just done an excellent job of holding that line. They felt the pressure, though, from the top side lane a few times. Hasn't faltered them at all. They've just stuck their noses out there, kept it clean, and one thing, as you mentioned, Brady, one thing that sticks out for me is Jose Medina is the way he's able to push. Both of them have just pushed excellent here. It doesn't look like either driver is uncomfortable with the way that their teammates pushing them. You haven't seen anybody pull out of line there at all. Just seems as great teamwork so far out of those two. See right here as we run through the field, you're going to get an eye on some of these drivers here tonight. Of course, we're going to see most of these drivers in tomorrow's main event on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. That'll be the official start of the regular season here in the over-the-top designs Xfinity series. Is going to run through Raul Meza in that 37. You saw what happened to him not too long ago. But right now, Kerry Tribute is going to be our race leader. The pace lights are off of the pace car as we head towards that start finish line here. Medina, though, with an odd lane choice there, is going to start to the outside of his teammate there. Maybe just a move to block Blake Lothian there, who is now on the outside lane. Could be a little bit of a showmanship move there, Brady, I would say, to block that topside lane to maybe with 9 laps to go, sealed the deal for Broken Axle Motorsport.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Will. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen on this restart, if he's able to get down to the bottom or if Kerry's actually going to go up there to the top with them and pull that outside line down the back straightaway, and then maybe they both can get out front and then go back down to the inside line. So it's crunch time, right? It's time to get it up, but I know they're in the channel together talking to each other about it, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, here we go with 9 laps to go. The pace car pulls off. Kerry Tribute, Jose Medina are side by side. They are teammates as the green flag is in the air. Kerry Tribute is going to take us down to corner number 1 as our race leader with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, and Jose Medina's just out there sitting duck right now. He's hoping that 78 of Keith Haney can get up there. Keith Haney running for Upfront Team Ford, which is affiliated with Upfront Motorsports, John Hedrick and those guys. But now as we see Blake Lothian making a move from 3rd to the outside lane to lead it, and he's going to get on side of Kerry Tribute in the middle of 3 and 4, Will.
You see Blake Lothian right there on the top side. Is going to now be pushed by Kerry Tribute's teammate Jose Medina in that 24 machine. This is not what Kerry wants to see. He knows the skill out of Blake Lothian's car right there. Jose Medina, though, is going to get a little squeeze there at the start-finish line here with 7. laps to go. We are in for quite a finish as we are side by side on the apex of 1 and 2, although Carriage Tribute is going to inch out just a little bit now on the apex of 1 and 2. On the exit of 2, still Carriage Tribute leading down the backstretch. Oh, we have Dustin Scruggs pull out a line there. Something coming off of 2, the way the aerodynamics work on these Xfinity cars, it's causing some of these drivers to get very uncomfortable as now the pack's going to go down to 3 and 4. As we come off of 4 right now, Carriage Tribute is going to take us to the start-finish line here, make it 6 laps to go. Still our race leader on the track, Carriage Tribute in that 7 machine. As it take us down to the corner right now. I see a lot of moving parts behind him, though. You see his teammate right there in that 24 machine, Jose Medina. You see Blake Lothian right there as well. He is pushing along right there. See who that is? That's the 19 of Q, who has been in the mix all night long right now, but with 6 laps to go, he wants to make sure he puts that 19 in victory lane, as he's got an excellent guy to work with there on that top side lane as things are getting a little crazy. Oh, big wreck. That's Jose Medina in the 24. Adam Newber in the 4 as well. Oh my goodness, Brady. Big wreck on the apex of 3 and 4.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go back and see that. I know they were 3 wide, and it seemed like they were just bouncing back and off of each other. It looked like the 4 of Adam Newbert, the 20 of Hunter Parsons, and the 24 of Jose Medina was the big part of that.
As we take a look at this replay here, you see Haney right there, Adam Newbert in the 4, Jose Medina in the 24. Uh-oh, does the danger zone lane claim another victim? Looks like a little bit of netcode there as well there, Brady. You see Adam Newbert, though. If we can rewind that just a little bit, he is in that danger zone lane. And what I like to say, folks, in that danger zone lane, nothing ever good happens in that danger zone lane. You see Adam Newbert's going to try to inch through that lane. It's already closing. He's going to make contact there on the low side. It's going to force him up. Boy, that's some big netcode there, I got to say. Big net code there as Adam Newbert made that contact with the 20 of Parsons, forced him up the track. No contact was made with Jose Medina in that 24 just yet. There probably was going to be contact. iRacing stepped in and said, nope, there's contact. Sent the 24 sideways, and that just caused a domino effect past those guys.
Yeah, Will, and that's unfortunate. I thought we was gonna see some good, great moves. With 5 to go at that point. Everybody's getting antsy, trying to make moves, trying to get up there, and making it 3 wide and whatnot. It wasn't a bad move. It's just, guys are just kind of bouncing off of each other. But like I said, at the end of this thing, here we are with 4 laps to go, and Carey Tribute's leading this thing.
Yeah, and we've seen Kerry in the Truck Series. Of course, that Truck Series is a few weeks into there, about 5 or 6 weeks in. Of course, we've had this holiday break, and I can't wait to get back Monday night into that series. But we've had about 5 or 6 different winners in that series, and Kerry has yet to break through in there. And he's in that basket of drivers. I like to say it's going to break through eventually. But here tonight in the Xfinity car, he has been the car to beat in this machine here tonight, Brady. Working with different guys. Of course, he has teammate Jose Medina up there working with them. Good portion of this race here tonight. But it looks like Kerry's might be a lot more comfortable inside of this Xfinity car than he is in the truck. Although he's very good in the truck as well. This might be the series that we see Kerry maybe stack up a few wins during this season.
Oh, absolutely. Kerry is great for Nazareth. He's just come in here and he's committed. He's raced on a night-to-night basis, and I know he likes these super speedway races because we've seen him win one of the dual races. I wasn't sure if it was the dual race or if it was the Clash in the Monday Night Truck Series, but either way, he won one of those races. So, no, he likes coming to Daytona. It's always been good to him.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be good to him here tonight if he can stick that lane, the inside lane that is, and ride that into victory lane. But here we go, folks. Next time by, we will be green flag racing with 2 laps to go. The pace lights are off of the pace car right now as we take a look at this field coming around the corner here with all the commotion, with all the wrecks, with all the cautions we've had here tonight. We have a good mix of drivers that'll race it down to the finish. Of course, you have Kerry Jabu in that 7. You have Duke in that 27 right there as well. You have Pugh, who has been in the mix all night long, as well as Blake Lothian's in the 4th position. Dowse in 5th. Parson in 6th. Haney in the 81s in 7th. Raul Meza in the 37 is in 8th. Scruggs, our pole sitter, still holding on to a top 10 finish here tonight in 9th. And then we have Hess in the 10th position. That will be our top 10 as we get the drop of this green flag here as we creep down into corners number 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, I can feel the anticipation. I can feel the anxiousness up here in the booth. These drivers are ready to close this race out here tonight. Get out their notebooks, take a little bit of notes, maybe study a little bit, get ready for next Thursday night here in the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. That's when we'll kick off the official regular season from right here in Daytona. But right now, folks, we're going to have 2 laps to go, essentially a shootout to the end of this thing, as Barney has that green flag in his hand, and he is now waving it as Kerry Tribune will take this green flag across the line with 2 laps to go and head down to corner number 1 as our race leader.
Yeah, great start. We've seen a little wiggle out of David Duke in the 27 there, but he's recouped, and they're making a run on that outside lane coming through 1 and 2.
Right there, Kerry Tribune is going to lead us off right here on 1 and 2. Very tight, though. Very, very tight in this pack. Kerry Tribune is going to inch along there, although Duke's going to inch just a little bit more ahead of him here as we come down. See if Duke wants to make that move. They have cleared Kerry Tribune in the 19 right there as we're 3 wide for second. Oh my goodness, turns into a battle for third right there in the apex of 3 and 4 as now Duke is our race leader off of corner number 4. He's going to take the 1 to go. White flag here in dual race number 2.
And they're going to finish this race under speed, so we've seen that outside lane with a bunch of momentum, but they broke it up when they went 3 wide, and man, this is going to get good right here, Will. 3 wide and 1 and 2.
Very, very tight right there. That's a battle, it looks like, for about the 5th position. Top 5 finish. They're battling for right there. There goes Kerry Tribune to the outside of Duke in that 27. There goes Scruggs as well right there. Scruggs is going to get pushed by Raul Meza here. See if everybody's going to keep it clean. As we dig down to 3 and 4, Kerry Tribune is in the middle, getting pushed by Blake Lothian. See if Kerry can keep his cool right there in the middle lane. Still Duke, though, leading the way here off of 4. See if we have a battle at the line for the race victory. They're crashing behind him. We'll see what happens here at the line. Not going to be enough, as Duke is going to win dual race number 2. As Dustin Scruggs going to get second. It looks like Raul Meza might sneak up for third. Boy, what a finish that was, Brady. We had drivers crashing out right there at the start-finish line, coming off of 4. My big question, though, is where did Duke come from in that 27? Not really a name that we were calling out too much here tonight. Snuck up there. You saw other drivers starting to battle it out. Kerry Tribune faded there at the very end. Looks like Raul Meza is not going to beat him to the lines. Kerry Tribune will get that 3rd position there. Jose Medina will get 5th, so we see those teammates going to finish in the top 5 here. A lot to take from this race into that main event. Of course, we just spoke about Duke's going to win here in that 27. We have Dustin Scruggs going to finish 2nd in the 11th after starting pole position, going to the tail end, working his way back up, going to finish 2nd here tonight. Kerry Tribune, as I just mentioned, is going to finish 3rd. Raul Meza 4th. Jose Medina 5th. Matt Rudder right there in 6th. We have Pugh in 7th right there as well. Zachary Dowse going to finish in 8th. Keith Haney in 9th. Zach Osborne in 10th. Blake Lothian. Looks like some of these drivers may have gotten tangled up there at the very end. Blake Lothian is going to finish 11th. Adam Newbert in that 4 machine is going to finish 12th. Kyle Hess in 13th. Hunter Parsons in 14th. And Doc Codwell in the 15th position. Boy, what a race, Brady. I cannot wait for the kickoff of the regular season next week here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. But before that, we've got to get to talking to our podium finishes here tonight, including our race winner of Duke, who essentially just snuck by all the guys we were talking about all race long and then wins this race here tonight.
Absolutely. What a great finish. I know they wrecked about 750 feet before they crossed the start finish line. But what happens again is teammates working together. So you had Dustin Scruggs and David Duke 1-2 finish for primary race team. So we're just waiting for Dustin to get here in the waiting room. But I tell you what, Will, we got Kerry Tribute, our third place finisher. We'll bring him up if you're ready to do interviews.
Yeah, we'll chat with Kerry just a minute here. So his thoughts about the race. Of course, he ran on the top of the grid majority of tonight's race, worked with his teammate very well. But now we are joined by the man himself, Kerry Tribute, in that 7 machine. And Kerry, you're going to slide down to about the 3rd position here tonight. We spoke about it during the broadcast. You worked very well with your teammate there of Jose Medina in that 24. We saw what I think we're going to see during the regular season, and looks like you were racing a very good race. Gonna fall out just a little bit there at the end, gonna finish 3rd. I think, though, you can take a lot from this race to the start of the regular season next week.
Yes, thank you guys very much. I want to thank my teammate Jose for being there. We worked really well tonight. I believe going forward it's going to be really fun working with him. But yeah, we were just trying to get as many spots as possible. Actually, when we got broken up, I was at the end right there, last restart. I was like, hopefully top 3, maybe top 5, but that's what happens.
Yeah, and we watched this race here tonight. Of course, we watched that down the backstretch there where a lot of you guys get tangled up. Did that kind of take the wind out of your sails, or did you know what you had inside of that race car?
I believe, yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened right there. It just looked like it was net code from what Brady was saying over the air. But yeah, I mean, I knew I had a good solid piece. I'm pretty good, I believe, on any type of vehicle we run super speedways at. So I've really confidence is high. I feel like I could push, I could lead, whatever lane, bottom lane, top lane. It is what it is.
Yeah, we spoke about that actually on the broadcast here. Of course, we see you in that truck series there. I think in my mind, you're one of those drivers that are going to break through here as we're come off of this holiday break. I think a wins in the cars in that series. You get a dual race win here tonight. But here, let's talk about this finish here. Of course, we watched it down from the last lap down to this finish. You know, we saw you in the 2nd spot there. You're trying to get around Duke in that 27. Break down how those last few laps played out for you.
Well, once the top line started going on that restart, I was kind of SOL for a second and was just thinking, well, hopefully I don't get pushed back too far. I got pushed up enough that I could make a move to the top once I knew he was going to come down and block. That's usually what people do here. Um, if I was him, I probably would have stayed on the top. That run would have been easier to block from the guy who was pushing him. But once I got to that top, I was waiting for somebody behind me to push me, and all I could see was 3 white trucks, and I was like, uh-oh. And I could just feel myself getting sucked back. And then finally I got a push, but it was too late by then.
Yeah, still going to come home 3rd here tonight. Carry an excellent finish, a podium finish here in dual race number 2. This is almost like a study session, if you will. What can you take from this race here tonight that you think you can apply to the kickoff of the regular season next week?
Well, I'm really looking forward to like the longer green run that we had, like we had in the first duel. Trying to figure out the pitting strategy because I think that's going to be what it's going to take to keep yourself up in front all night. But um, I just believe if you have the move, you got to make it. These cars are a little bit different than the trucks, so I just got to get a little bit used to that.
Yeah, cannot wait to see you here kick off the regular season next Thursday night. We'll see you Monday night, though, in those trucks. But, Kerry, before we let you go here, my man, is there anybody that you wanted to shout out? I know you shout out some people to start off this interview, but anybody else or any sponsors you wanted to shout out here tonight?
Yes, I want to shout out A&G Compressor Parts. All the boys back at the shop. my wife for letting me participate on Thursdays and Mondays. It's means a lot to me. My family and anybody else that wants to support me and continue my journey on sim racing.
Excellent finish here tonight, Kerry. We'll let you go, my man. Have a happy new year. We'll see you at the kickoff of the regular season next Thursday night here, Kerry. We appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thank you.
Now, is Kerry Tribute in that 7 machine is going to come home third here tonight, Brady? But I believe you're catching up with our second place finish, who I would say probably put in the most work here tonight from going pole position, tail end of the pack, worked his way back up, and finishes inside of the top 3.
That's correct. I'm joined here by second place finisher Dustin Scruggs for primary race team. Dustin, we saw you start on the pole, then pull out of the pack, go all the way to the back, and stayed on the tail end of the pack for majority of the race. And then you worked your way all the way up to finish second place. So tell us how tonight went.
Yeah, I mean, it went fine. This Daytona racing, just trying to get used to these cars and who's who and who's doing what. At the beginning, I pulled out. I actually lost the draft and kind of got lucky. I don't know if Mr. Hess was extending an olive branch for me or not, but either way, he would allow me to catch back up. And I just kind of stuck with the draft. I couldn't decide if we're going to try to push to the front or not. But people are all over the track and lines weren't really forming up really well, so I was just trying to stay out of the way and try to be there at the end, and that worked out well. So.
Yeah, so we've raced the duel number 1, we've raced duel number 2 now at Daytona. Next week's week 1 to kick off the season, and we are expecting to have 30 plus cars here next week. So with the stages, 85 laps next week, are you assuming that race is going to go kind of like it did tonight or the first duel, or you think it's going to be a little bit more calmer? What is your take on it?
Well, I expect to have at least double the people. You're gonna have a lot of varieties of talent levels, so I'm thinking it'll probably be pretty spread out. I think a lot of people are gonna drop to the back. There'll be some wiggle worms up in the front for a while, and maybe after a couple pit stops, they'll start tightening up and get a few cautions. And so your end third of the race will probably be the most interesting this week.
Absolutely. And should we expect to see a primary race team up front next week?
Well, you should expect that every week, baby.
Good deal. That's what we want to hear. And before we let you go, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Sure, yeah. Our primary power sports racing team. Like to apologize to Kerry for kind of calling him out on that restart. That was definitely, he did nothing wrong. I reviewed it. Just these cars, I wasn't expecting that kind of start. So other than that, we got a newborn on the way any moment now. So we'll take any good luck and we'll start our way. Hopefully we'll be there next week. So.
Well, congratulations on the baby on the way. And if you need a backup driver, just you know where to find me.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right. And that's Dustin Scruggs, our second place finisher tonight, Will.
Yeah, even though he didn't win the race here tonight, I'm sure he's excited about what he has on the way there. Congratulations to Dustin on that newborn baby that's on the way here, especially with the new year right around the corner here. He's especially excited there. But it is time to speak with the race winner here of dual race number 2, a man that really snuck up through the field. It's not no fault of our own. Didn't really call out his name a lot here tonight, but somehow, some way, wins the race here tonight. Speaking with David Duke in that 27 machine. And David, you win dual race number 2 through all the commotion, through all the yellow flags. Take us through how you're able to get the job done here tonight.
Teammates, Dustin Scruggs, the only way I got that done. He stuck to my bumper there at the end and was able to push me through there. We teamed up and we managed to get through the field pretty good. I got involved there in an early scuffle, but we managed to use our fast repair and manage our body and everything just like we needed to, and not get too much damage, and come through there at the end.
Yeah, it was a crazy race there. We saw Dustin Scruggs, your teammate there. We just spoke to him. He's going to finish second. He went from the pole sitter down to the tail end of the pack and then worked his way back up through the field. Were you guys in constant communication throughout this race of where each other were at? And then once you're able to get close enough to one another, was the game plan in motion that, okay, this is what we're going to do? We're going to get around these guys at the front.
We didn't really start looking at it till about halfway. We just kind of let everything play out like it was going to, and halfway we kind of found each other because, like I said, I got that early penalty for I had to pit before pit road was open, so I had to go to the back and work my way back up to the front anyway. So once we found each other's bumpers, we kind of hung out with each other there and did what we had to do and made it count when it needed to.
Now, David, we kick off the regular season next week here from Daytona here in the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. With this race victory here tonight, I'm sure you're going to take a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum into that regular season jumping off point there. But what else can you take from a race like this that maybe you can apply to that regular season race?
Just you kind of get comfortable with the guys that were racing around. Kind of learn whose bumper you can get up underneath and really push and kind of learn whose bumper you can't do that with, and kind of got to be a little bit more defensive behind them. So just good learning, filling everybody out.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what you take from this and then apply to that race next week. You found your teammate. Looks like we're going to have some teammates and team battles going on there as we saw Kerry Tribune, Jose Medina leading that way at the top. We saw you and your teammate work your way up to the top. It's you and your teammate that finished 1-2 here tonight. Before we let you go, David, is there anybody that you wanted to shout out that may have been watching here tonight or any sponsors that made this race possible for you?
Yeah, I got quite a bit. All my followers at Big Duke _Sim _racing on TikTok, YouTube, and on Twitch. My wife, Allie.Duke at mvvtravelco.com. Everybody over at Rat Pack Racing and Primary Racing Team. Just thanking everybody for inviting me back into it, because I kind of been away for a little while when I'm working, but I built a second rig up here in Ohio, so I'm kind of back into it. So I appreciate everybody's patience and welcome me back.
Yeah, I'm sure a win like this will warm you up just a little bit with all the weather that's been going on there, David. And a huge congratulations from us here at the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We'll let you go celebrate with your teammate Scruggs there in just a moment, but we want to wish you a happy new year. We want to appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. We cannot wait to see what that 27 has in store next Thursday night.
Yeah, right on. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and a happy holiday, and we'll see you next year. We'll get after 'em.
Yes, yes, sir, indeed. We'll see you next year there, David. Congratulations once again. We appreciate it, my man.
Right on. Thank you.
And that was David Duke in that 27 machine's going to win dual race number 2 here tonight. And Brady, I think the word of the day we could say is teammates, because we saw the teamwork from Jose Medina up there at the top working with Kerry Tribune. We just heard from our race winner David Duke about how he was working with his teammate Dustin Scruggs up there. So I think once this regular season kicks off next week, next Thursday night here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, I think we're going to see a lot more of that being played out there.
Absolutely will. And look, man, I'm excited. We've done 3 races with this group, 3 different winners. Like you said, teammates. That's going to be the story to tell next week. Who can survive, who can be there at the end and work well with their teammates. Again, shout out to Kerry, Jose, David, and Dustin for making it happen tonight, right? Teammates working together, working well together to get up front and finish in the top 5.
Yeah, excellent race indeed. Probably a little bit different from dual race number 1 with all the cautions, 3 wide racing, 6-pack racing. We saw Jose Medina up there. We saw Kerry Tribune up there. We saw Dustin Scruggs lead the way as our pole sitter. Falter back, came back up there, pushed his teammate across the line. David Duke wins dual race number 2 here tonight. But from all of us here at the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, we want to thank everybody for watching here tonight. We hope everybody had a great holiday over last weekend. We're right smack dab in the middle of another one with the new year coming up here, so we'll get a jump on that. wish everybody a happy new year at home as well. You also want to thank our sponsor of tonight's race, Pultz Poppers, there for being an excellent sponsor here, not only sponsoring the race here tonight, sponsoring our instant replay as well. Cannot wait to have them along the ride here in the regular season. But folks, that's it for the preseason. We got the Clash race, we got the Duel race number 1, Duel race number 2 out of the way. Next Thursday night here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, it all begins. The Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series officially kicks off at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. But for all of us here tonight, myself, William Tiller, Brady LaBeouf, and Cody Knott, the man behind the decks here tonight, I want to wish everybody a great night. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you in 2023.